I'm very glad to have this opportunity to share with you something about food culture and product innovation. At the beginning of this year, as a president of the group, before I worked as the president, I've already been working in the product development for over 30 years. But when I was doing this job, I have a very deep impression that most of the product innovations are from every researcher or the R&D team's daily life, which means that no matter you are from the daily necessities field or you are for the food product, their ideas are largely from their experiences in their daily life. The development of many products is also closely related to the life of each consumer. So I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share with you my experiences in the past. First of all, for the topic about product innovation, the R&D director of Coca-Cola has mentioned most of the innovations are from the understanding of the needs of consumers as well as the understanding of the technology. But here I want to add one more thing, which is the design of the product. Because I think to combine the needs of consumers and the technological platform, but also when we design the product, we have to also to consider what kind of functions can we provide to the consumers in this product. And then based on this function, you can provide an affordable price to the consumers. Only in this way can a product be successful. If you ignore the third factor, even though you have a very good understanding of the consumer and you have a very good technology platform, but the product will not be successful still. But of course, there are many other factors are at work. But I think at least we should include the above three factors. Here, for the researchers or the R&D staff, every day what they do is for the unknown place, to explore the unknown field, to further explore the needs of consumers and to explore further in technology as well as the design of product. So based on the exploration, the opportunities source will be different. For the exploration in the needs of consumers, I think a typical example is P&G's hair care products, because we know P&G only use the same technology, but they can establish 4 global brands. We know the 4 brands are very popular: Rejoice, VS, Pantene, and Head and Shoulders. Actually, the product design and the technology they use are very similar, but they can understand the needs of the consumers. They can do many innovations in the product. So they established the 4 major brands across the globe. And also, in the era of internet, you will find that with the emergence of the internet technology, we have many innovations of product as well as innovations of business models. In terms of the product design, I think the typical example is the Walkman. For this product, because of the design, it enables you to listen to music when you are working. A more obvious example is, as you all know, the mobile phone. Because of the design of this product, like Samsung makes the screen bigger, and then they pose a very big threat to Apple's products. So the source of the design or the ideas, I think, is from, as I mentioned, is from how can we continuously explore those unmet needs and those needs that they themselves don't know. Only when we have this kind of insight can we know what kind of technologies will we develop or what kind of products shall we design. So before we talk about the food culture, this is something I want to share with you about innovation. In terms of the food culture, we have mentioned a lot about this topic. But here I want to share with you my understanding or my opinion about the food culture. Actually, the food culture shall include the cooking, the nutrition, or the way of eating. It means how to eat. And the next is the food itself. The four big areas can also be extended to all the other fields. It includes all kinds of aspects and fields. Why? For the understanding of food culture is important for product innovation. I want to share with you a story about 4 years ago. We have a global, very popular cosmetic company which come to my factory to visit and learn. And after that, they talked with me. One of the director of R&D posed a question because after the visiting the factory of the instant noodles, I told them a very important idea that the instant noodle is in a round shape. It is very difficult to make it into the round shape in a very fast speed. We spend years of time to overcome this difficulty. So when we communicate with each other, he asked us why has the instant noodle to be in the shape of round. I think this is a very interesting question. Have you found that I told him the balls or the cup of the noodles is round? So from this kind of details understanding in life, maybe it is very difficult for them to understand why the instant noodles have to be in the round shape, because they think that it will be more convenient to make them into a rectangular shape. And we have another example. It's about the tea beverage. He came to our factory and I explained to them the tea beverage is really extracted from the tea leaves. And he felt that it is very strange because the tea extraction technology is already very advanced and very sophisticated. And also the essence and fragrance companies are also very advanced. Why do you have to buy tea leaves to extract? Then I have to explain to them, for the Chinese tea, there are so many different varieties. It's not just one type of tea. Because for the tea, for the public, they have different levels of fermentation, or they have different density, or the different time to make the tea, or the different temperature of the water. But for him, he thinks it's more or less the same. As long as it's fragrant, it will be okay. So I think for the tea culture, especially in the food and beverage industry, if you do not know or understand about the food culture of the local people, it is very difficult for you to understand why you design the product in this way, or you do not even know how to develop the products. So for food culture, I think that it includes many different aspects which can also serve as inspirations for product development and innovation. Here, I want to share with you a point to share with you my opinion. About the way of eating. Once I talked to my friend that for the Chinese people, compared to the Europeans and compared to the American people, for the way of eating, what are the differences in terms of their attitudes toward food, which means how to eat? Because the way to eat determines your attitude towards food. So what do you think are the differences in terms of the attitudes towards eating among the Chinese people, the European people, and the American people? Because I think it's very important, because when you design or develop a product, what aspect shall you focus? So I want to share with you my opinion. For the American people, their attitude toward food, the focus is a hamburger shall provide all kinds of nutrition. So you will see that the hamburger in the US is very rich. It's like a super hamburger. It contains different layers which can meet all the nutritional requirements. But for the European people, their attitude toward the food is to consider eating as a way or an opportunity to communicate with other people. So if you have a dinner with a European friend, if you go there at 6 o'clock, maybe the dinner will start at 8 o'clock. Because before the dinner, they are talking with each other. Even when they are eating, they even do not know what they are eating because they focus on the communication. So you know that the food and beverage industry is very advanced in Europe because it focuses on the atmosphere, the environment, so that the guests go there when they go there for business, or they go there for a date, or they go there for a family union. So you can see this industry is very advanced in Europe. But for the Chinese people, what are their attitudes toward food? The Chinese people have turned the eating into an artistic work. For example, if you go to a Chinese restaurant, if you see the menu, you will find that for each dish or each course, they have a specific name, or sometimes they even use poems to describe the dishes. Because the food or the dish cannot only be tasty or look good, but also when you eat it, you have to imagine the scenery associated with this food or this dish. So for the Chinese people, they are so interested in the food culture that they make the food culture in China very rich and colorful. And here, I want to share with you an example related to innovation. It's in the right side. In the past, many researchers on the food culture have mentioned many opinions on how to make a very good cuisine, or how to make very good food, how to cook good food. They have many arguments. But for me, I integrate all these kind of opinions into this chart. I think it will be very relevant
need to consider the priority and what is important, what is relatively less important. This is 10 things Chinese are looking for in food. First is texture, smell, taste, and color, shape, convenience, and then utensils, orderliness, status, and fun. According to the Masslow's demand theory, need theory, there is a basic and top on top of that and the top layer. This morning we have one speaker mentioned when you are designing a product, what's the factor to decide the success of this product? I want to highlight one point. The thing, whether it's beverage or food, must be good to eat, tasty, and good to drink and good to eat. What is good to eat and good to drink? Many people think smells good, eats good, but Chinese are also practical. But Chinese very highlights a lot about the texture. Many people would translate it into quality or texture. Many more would translate it into quality. Some would translate it into the feel of mouth. I often heard the feel of mouth, this word. This is complex because feel of mouth contains a lot of aspects, whether it's aroma, it's taste, or it's flavor, or it's flavor or style or aroma. But Chinese, the thinking on the texture, on the quality. For example, we drink tea, we eat something. Chinese highlights a lot on the aftertaste, something left behind after you're eating, after you're drinking. Whether it's any Taiwanese highlights on the style of the tea. It's not aroma, it's not a smell, it's the aftertaste. A girl is stylish, which means he stands the gazing, and some drink would be at the beginning good to eat, good to drink, but there is an oily and over taste after the drink is no good. So many colleagues trying very hard to replace something, to use the artificial sugar sweeteners to replace sugar, but very hard. One thing is the aftertaste is very hard to be addressed. So many beverage products are trying hard to overcome this aftertaste problem, whether it's going to be refreshment aftertaste or refreshing aftertaste, or whether it's not so good aftertaste. Use this kind of indicator as an index for the quality. This is one of my thinking. In addition, I like to recently there is China on the tip of tongue. It's a TV program, and I talk several times with my friends. I've been working in mainland China for R&D. I was moved. I was touched twice. First move. First moving, I went to Shanxi and the Shanxi province. They are inland provinces, poor provinces in China, inland areas, inland region, with less resource and less supply. They are Loess plateau. Shanxi and Shanxi generate rich flour cuisine culture. Many normally every day the housewife would spend a lot of time in to work on the flour. So the flour, the wheat products, flour products from these two provinces are of diversified taste and also delicious and rich varieties. So the fondness, the actually Chinese fondness on the food is really overwhelming, and there is bean curd, tofu. Chinese would think about to make the bean curd at certain times. He's talking about the hairy bean curd. It's after fermentation and with some kind of microbe as the hairy things, and it's of good taste, good flavor. This is really touched me. Something really touched me. So the first episode 1 of the China on the Tip of Tongue, this TV program, the hair, such kind of wires on the surface of bean curd must be good looking and of good quality, otherwise it's not eatable. So this enthusiasm on the food is quite interesting, and people are using luxury bags and foreign watches. Luxury, international luxuries are quite popular in China, and Chinese is almost lose the confidence in the domestic culture. However, China is very confident in the dietary culture, and quite confident. You go out and go internationally, you can proudly introduce the Chinese cuisine to everyone. So the dietary culture, cuisine culture for China, for Chinese, the core value is very critical and important. I think the China episode 2 for the China on the Tip of Tongue, this program is is a bit overshooting. Dietary culture is closely related with everyday life, it's like overshooting. He gets the emphasis, gets the point. Dietary, the diet with the family value, but they somehow exaggerated, overshoot it.
So without further ado, we know that China is a big landmass, and with different topographies, different landscapes in China. We have a lot of internal havocs from different dynasties, and from east, from south, from north, from west, all the different parts of the people want to ruin the whole country. So a lot of internal battles. So which gave birth to the diversity of China's, we call it schools of cuisine. We're talking about 4 schools, 8 schools, or 10 schools, or 12 schools of cuisine in China. If we want to make it breakdowns, they will be very detailed. Why we have this kind of schools or division of cuisine? Because it's related to the different waters, because of different waters, and there are different cultural features and characteristics. So we agree with that. We have 4. Typically, we have 4 dishes. That is the 4 parts: the Sichuan, and so in China, we have from 4 to 8 to 12, different interpretations anyway. The most important, the most recognized are the four: Huaiyang, Sichuan, Shandong, and Guangdong. For each and every school, we know the features, and we know the specific features for each and every schools of cuisine. For instant noodles, if you are not the right flavor, the customer will not buy it. This slide shows the representatives of the different schools of cuisine. For most of the Chinese people, speaking of the word, he knows what's the flavor, right? Anything, just we know the last but one, that is the chili fish head. We know, speaking of the word, we know what the dish is. Then drinks, tea among the drinks is the most popular. From the right to West Lake Longjing to Pu'er of Yunnan province. For each and every tea, they are fermentation and they are making a total different. As I mentioned, from zero fermentation, from the mild, the fermentation from middle fermentation, from full fermentation, they have different flavors. I want to get the specific. With the different fermentation methods, the boiling method is different as well. So really, in China, if I do a good job to do the tea drinks, it's not an easy job. For each and every tea, for even each and every locality, they know the flavor. If you're not typical, and you will be in trouble. This is the geographical distribution of different representative tea categories or tea schools. For China, you should have a deep understanding or profound understanding of Chinese tea before you can develop a genuine tea tailored to Chinese market. Speaking of innovation, we had to do the rethinking or reflection in China. For the innovation of Chinese food, I want to share with you my perspective for innovation principles. People should be the first, and people-oriented combined with culture and technology. Chinese people, we believe food is of the paramount importance. In the past millenniums, we have been focusing closely on food. However, China is slow in terms of industrialization. So, in other words, we are the second mover in terms of food industry. So, because we are second mover, we should follow the development and the trend of the diet industry. So, for 3D technologies, and for that, and also for the different products, we kind of the hydrophilic. So we have to incorporate different features and different technologies. Speaking of, if we want to make the renovation and the creative or amendment, it will be another daunting task in the development of products. A lot of innovation comes from something intangible because it's for the mass production. This kind of innovation should boost the sales of our products to all corners of the world. Certain examples. For Master Kong, we have a department we call the Institute of China Food Research, dedicated to the research and study of Chinese culture of food. Speaking of the noodle food culture perspective, let's take a look. north of Yangtze River is different from the north of Yangtze River in terms of culture. Most importantly, for different cities, they have their own different their flour or dao culture or noodles culture. Otherwise, if you don't have the understanding of the culture difference between the north and south part of Yangtze River, you will be sidetracked or derailed. Speaking of the instant noodles of Master Kong, who is him? We call it the universal flavor. And we have 5 different flavors, which are nationally recognized. Apart from these universally recognized ones, for different every locality, for south of China, for northeast of China, they are doing more brewing. For east part of China, brewing, and in North China, and also in Hunan, Jiangxi, they are famous to be spicy. And so, based on the study and understanding of different localities in terms of food culture, we can develop the right flavor. Last, I would like to share with you the beverages categories and the flavors. This direction, this is our working together with Pepsi. This is a Western culture. To the left hand is a Western beverage. To the right direction, that is a Chinese style beverages. As shown here, in the future, from this direction, more and more products will be established on the profound and deep understanding of Chinese cuisine culture. Last but not least, here for Kang Shifu, the Chinese cultures, they are in the brush, not in pen calligraphy, but in brush calligraphy. We don't see many brand logos are written with brush calligraphy. It looks like the traditional calligraphy style. So we really have the features to use our logo, put our logo. So this is something different as well. And the mission of Kang Shifu, the Master Kong, this is the regular script. Because in China we have different scripts. This is called the regular script. We still have a lot of potential to tap in terms of the exploration of Chinese food. Still, precondition is that they have understanding of the conventional and the traditional Chinese culture, coupled with advanced technology. In the future, food is subject to the culture. And beverages is not that dependent on culture, because in the past in China, we just have tea. We don't have any other beverages. The beverages come from the Western culture. In the past, a lot of drinks are from the Western countries. Coca-Cola, they are the first to make inroads into China. China will have only soup, or gravy, or tea. In the future, gradually but surely, Chinese beverages will find themselves on more shelves. I'm convinced that in the future, the Chinese beverages or Chinese drinks can be on par with the international or Western peers. The Chinese drinks are close to the international brands. For Coca-Cola, whatever, in the future, Chinese drinks will surpass the Western drinks given time. With that, I conclude my presentation. That's all for me. Hopefully, this can be of certain reference to you. Thank you all. Any question from the floor, by the way?
不晓得有没有什么问题。
Yeah, thank you for sharing your insights. Yes? Yeah, thank you for sharing your insights. Yes? That was very interesting.
谢谢杨总哈，就是一个简单小问。
A quick question.
谢谢杨总。
You speak a lot about the Chinese cuisine culture with a lot of stories. And for Chinese spirit of food culture is we agree to disagree. For food industry, we have the standardization, which is very important. So, and I would say hamburger, whatever, the Western food looks simple, but they have the higher standardization to go through. So how do you view the Chinese cultures? On the one hand, we should draw upon the essences from the traditional culture. On the other hand, we should learn from international peers in terms of standardization of the food. And this is a standardization issue. And also you touched upon different beverages for different localities. For Master Kong, for Tingyi Group, what's your next orientation? You are still want to build a nationwide network tailored to different flavors, or maybe you have different, maybe your emphasis on more specific localities? For the first question is the standardization of Chinese conventional food. This is a great challenge. You are right. I've been, as mentioned, I've been with the R&D for 3 decades. I have one request to my subordinates: quality, stability is of paramount importance. Stability is higher than flavor, say, than taste. If a tasty, delicious, with a high penetration of the market, and but the quality is not stable, the products will not be called good products. It will not go to mass market. Stability is very important. So that's why I share with you one view. A lot of technological innovation is something intangible, which cannot be seen from the appearance of the products, but that doesn't mean that they are not important. For tea development process, for the raw tea leaves, we have a profound study of the tea leaves. Can be dating back to the farm, the tea farm, nationwide. How to feed, how to how to harvest the tea. Now we have to know the categories of the tea, their climate, their condition, humanity, and different details. So the quality stable is very important. Another example is that we use with the pepper. We use pepper. The nam chili, this pepper. In China, for the pepper manufacturing place, we don't know how to use it. We do not dare use it after we have the study of the field. So we have to go to the pepper farms to see, to collect the peppers. Because the peppers don't fall to the soil, to the ground. We have to harvest it before it drops to the ground. This is the precondition for the guarantee of the quality of the stability of the pepper. So this is one vivid example. So I believe that this is very important, the stable quality. It takes takes painful effort, but we have to do that. This is the pepper case for Master Kong. We have our noodles. We have our, how Kung Fu, the beef restaurant. They are not very big in numbers. We want to have a more stable and gradual outlets development. We don't want to maybe open 1,000 overnight. Number two is what's the orientation? Yes, we are dedicated to one particular big localities. There's one principle here. We have The local flavor market share in a particular area, localities, cannot surpass of the universal flavor, this local flavor will not be given the green light for mass production. That's our principle. So whether it's a local flavor or it's a universal flavor, who is to say? The customers in the markets have the final say.
Much, very, very interesting.
非常感谢。
It's after lunchtime. Very good. Okay, I will. Oh, yeah, I'll take that one. Thank you. I introduce. Oh, any other questions? We probably haven't got. Didn't look like there was. So, but maybe at the end there'll be more. Oh, another one? Oh, we do have another one.
谢谢杨总的分享啊，就是尤其是在这个文化。
Thank you very much for your sharing, especially in the culture and in the diet culture. I want to ask you one question because this early on, food. Many people mentioned the food is developing toward the functionality and natural ingredients. What's your comments? What's your view on the functional food? It's necessary. It's a must direction. Necessity direction. This is very important. No matter how good the functionality is, if the food tastes weird and drinks weird, no matter how good the function is, the Chinese will not take it, will not accept it. So you need. The Chinese consumers are quite sensible. They are calculating quite clearly. If the products contains so much vitamin, you double the price. Then I take a vitamin pill, and they will calculate the Chinese arithmetic ability is strong. You just take the change. They would, the retailer would calculate quickly in the mind, and better than Americans. So Chinese consumers are quite sensible, and this is going to be the trend. Functionality is going to be the trend, but how to overcome the taste, flavor issue.
Okay, thank you.